So you need a bike that's ready to take you on off-road adventures, but you also need a versatile bike that can do everyday stuff like your commute, going to the shops and just being a general workhorse. What should you get? Well, the obvious answer is to get this gravel bike like this Silex. It can do all of that stuff and much more. What do you mean? What you obviously need is a mountain bike hardtail like this BIG.NINE. It's the bike that can do everything. Oh no, not another what bike argument. The whole gravel bike versus mountain bike question is a pretty well-worn one. There's no shortage of people ready to fight each corner, but the reality is that while both style of bikes overlap a fair bit, they both have their own strengths and their own weaknesses. The really important part is figuring out which one would suit you and your riding best, and that's hopefully what this video will help with. The first big question that you need to ask to help decide between the two styles of bike is, where are you going to spend most of your time riding? Now, a mountain bike hardtail like this BIG.NINE is primarily an off-road riding machine. That's why it's got really fat tyres, 2.4 inches wide in this case, and also a suspension fork with 100 to 120 millimeters of travel, plus the extra leverage from the wide handlebars. You get loads of control when the terrain gets tricky. Rocks, roots, bumps and stumps, this bike is going to be fine on all of that sort of thing. Depending on your nerve and skill, there are very few things a modern hardtail mountain bike like this won't be able to cope with, though obviously on the really gnarly stuff it'll probably be a bit slower than a full suspension mountain bike. For heavy duty off-road riding, it's the clear winner out of these two. However, when we start dialing down the roughness of the terrain and increasing the speeds, the big tyres, suspension fork and wide bar start to become much less of an advantage for the mountain bike. A gravel bike like this Silex has slightly narrower, less heavily treaded tyres. In this case, the Silex measures in at 45 millimeters wide. That's around 1.8 inches. That's a lot bigger than a normal road bike's tyre, so there's still plenty of comfort and grip off-road, but they roll an awful lot faster than the mountain bike tyres, making it easier to get up to speed and stay there. The gravel bike's dropped handlebar also provides some big benefits. Much like on a road bike, riding in the drops gets you into a lower and much more aerodynamic stance, so you're more efficient at speed. The bar on this bike is wider than a road bike and also slightly flared, so you still get really good control off-road, but the biggest advantage is the variety of hand positions it allows, allowing you to chop and change your position depending on the terrain. That means the gravel bike is a really nice place to be on a long distance ride where you want to move about to take the pressure off your hands and back from time to time. Another key point is that the gearing on the gravel bike is designed for higher speeds. The Silex actually allows you single and double chainring options, so you can choose between lower weight or closer spacing. All of this means that if you regularly ride on the road as well as the dirt, the gravel bike is probably the better choice. Unless of course you have an extremely hilly route where the mountain bike's gearing might come back in handy. Now, the Silex is also a much more capable all-weather riding machine, as you can fit full-length mudguards, something that isn't possible with the BIG.NINE. The Silex also has an advantage when it comes to load lugging. Our aluminium frame bike can actually take a pannier rack, but even on the carbon bike there are loads of bottle cage mounts all over the frame, including some on the carbon fibre fork. That means you can carry loads more stuff, especially useful for going on bike packing adventures. Anyway, I hope that's helped you decide which might be a better match for you and your riding. If you'd like to find out more about either the BIG.NINE or the Silex, check out the links in the description down below. Thanks for watching.